A popular mindset seems to actually be that we will see the Super Dragon Balls used at some point in the Universal Survival Arc, the Tournament of Power, etc., as a way to undo the potential destructions of all the universes. Now, I'm going to talk about that here in this video, so buckle up, get your fried chicken and your Kool-Aid, as Dr. Blick would say, longtime friend of mine. Shout out to Dr. Blick. But anyways, as he would say, let's go ahead and get started. So I hope you enjoy, subscribe, all that other stuff. We're going to talk about the Super Dragon Balls in the Tournament of Power Universal Survival Arc. Now, I will say that I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that at the end of this, we don't just see a situation where Goku is like, hey, let's use the Super Dragon Balls to just wish all these universes back, right? I don't want to see that because, you know, and it kind of harks on just the entirety of Dragon Ball. I feel like the Dragon Balls as a whole, not just the Super Dragon Balls, they're used too often. Like, the show is way too reliant on their abilities, and you kind of saw that be a consequence in GT, which is why I kind of think GT had a lot of good ideas. They were like, okay, you need to stop using these Dragon Balls because all these wishes you've made have become consequential. And, you know, Dragon Ball Super doesn't really have very much consequence for just about anything that it does. So I would like for this arc to be something that's lasting. I would like for this to be something that doesn't just end and they're like, okay, let's undo it. Now, the Super Dragon Balls would be basically the best, cheapest, plot easiest way to do that, right? There's such a MacGuffin, just the Dragon Balls as a whole, but especially these all-powerful Super Dragon Balls that are able to do just about anything, because as you know, the Dragon Balls, just the native ones on the planets, are restricted to the power of the person that created them. So they do have limitations, where the Super Dragon Balls do not have those same limitations. We saw that, you know, in the Universe 6 tournament, the Champ arc. That being said, I really hope that isn't what happens, and I don't think it will happen, to be honest. I don't think that they'll use the Super Dragon Balls unless Zeno is okay with it or Zeno's okay with it, because in the previous episode, the latest episode, spoiler alert, it's nothing crazy really, just a line of dialogue. Champa was like, hey, maybe we should try to run, and Vados was like, yeah, you don't want to undermine Zeno. You don't want to undermine Zeno and his authority, basically. I feel like that's a blatant disregard for what Zeno has instated, because he said basically the Daishinkan is relaying all the information from Zeno at this point, or both of the Zenos. He said he has always said that there were too many universes and he was going to thin them out anyway, right? And he's breaking them down based on the way that they've been developed by the respective gods in those universes. He's saying, okay, well, these universes are underdeveloped, these ones are at a place where they don't need to be eliminated, so I'm going to remove them from this tournament of power. That's basically what he's saying. And he's like, okay, well, there's too many of these, I need to eliminate some of them. Now, if he's got that mindset already, he's using this tournament as a formality to give them a fighting chance, and, you know, they wind up losing. Let's just say, spitballing, Universe 7 wins. Goku's like, okay, Zeno, can we use the Super Dragon Balls to wish them all back, the ones that you just destroyed, or can we, you know, wish it to where you don't destroy them or something like that? That's a complete undermining of what his goal was. Now, Zeno has long been a character that's been, I want to say, underestimated, not by a lot of the fandom, but by characters like Goku, for example, because Goku has shown ignorance when it comes to Zeno. Even on the previous arc, where he was like, oh, I'll just press the button and he's gonna come, and he comes, he's like, okay, can you eliminate that guy? He was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna eliminate this entire timeline. So that's basically what he did, and Goku did not expect that whatsoever. So Zeno is highly unpredictable, and we hear the characters say this. Even Beerus is like, hey, do not underestimate this guy. Just because you're friends with him, don't underestimate him. You can't predict what he's going to do. He's too powerful, he's too naive, or too childish in nature to really predict. And that's really what he is. So I just think that even though he's good friends with Goku, he wouldn't appreciate that. Now, there is a possibility that at the end of it, he does say, okay, let's just not destroy it. I like the way that all you guys competed. I feel like you guys all did a good chance. You guys, you know, a little bit more guidance from your gods, your Supreme Kais and stuff like that, your Kaioshin. Everything will be okay in your universes. You guys can live in harmony. There's not too many of you guys, and everything ends well, right? That's probably what's going to wind up happening, unless, spitballing another idea, maybe all the residents of the universes go and live on, like, Universe 7, or in Universe 7, for example, which I don't want to happen either, but we can get a lot of crazy stories going, you know, where we have Planet Sadals back there and stuff like that, and Universe 7, it could be pretty crazy by the time that the time period where the end of Z is supposed to take place happens. So anyways, that's just my thoughts on the matter. I feel like the Super Dragon Balls are overused, or the Dragon Balls as a whole are overused, and they have been for the entirety of Dragon Ball as a franchise, basically. I don't want to see them used again. That basically removes consequence. I did like the way that they weren't really used in the previous arc like that, the Black arc. think that they really use them at all. I mean, there was probably one instance where they did in there. I can't remember. It's been too long. But, you know, prior to that, the Universe 6 stuff, they did use them there. I just don't want to see the Dragon Balls used. They've been overused at this point. They're a massive MacGuffin. And that's not the only thing like that in the show. Like, for example, like Senzu Beans are another thing that's just like, they're basically plot consequence removers, and I don't want those. I want this to be something that'll have consequences, but at the end of the day, the consequence is that all of this stuff is going to be destroyed, but they probably just won't even do that. So anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for tuning into today's video. Subscribe if you happen to be new, as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next Dragon Ball Super discussion video. But until then, stay swaggy, have an awesome day. Peace.